welcome to... Sorry, you ready?
Oh, sorry. I dropped a pen. Surprised you didn't hear that, Dave.
I did hear it.
This week on the Whiskey and Things podcast, episode 54, we're trying some Irish whiskey. Yes, Teeling, single grain.
And to join us in drinking this wonderful dram, we are joined by ex-Irish International Rugby Union player Mike McCarthy.
As always, you can find some more whiskey-based content, images and videos, etc. on our social media platforms at Whiskey and Things Podcast on Instagram and at Whiskey and Things on Facebook and Twitter.
But if you would like to help us out even more, please just leave us a review on your favourite podcast platform. Those Apple reviews make a big difference to us. And you can also do it on Facebook as well. Go, 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 go!
You're listening to the Whiskey and Things podcast with Dave Giles and Nick Kent.
Welcome to episode 54 of Whiskey and Things. I'm Dave Giles.
And I'm Nick Kent. Hello.
How's it going, mate? How's it going? Sun is shining down here. Is it up there?
It is shining up here in Manchester.
That doesn't happen often.
I know it doesn't.
So enjoy it. What are you doing inside then? Let's do this quickly then, so you can get out and enjoy it.
It would be nice, yeah.
Mate, I'm excited about this week's show because we've got a very special guest. This is our first professional sports person, which I'm really excited about because...
Yeah, it's a good start to the new... It's not season 2, is it? We decided against it, everyone.
Yeah. No season 2.
We're just rolling on. But it's a good start to the second year of the Whiskey and Things podcast.
Absolutely.
Having our first professional sports person.
Who we met on Instagram, essentially, right? That's how that happened.
He followed us on Instagram and we just got chatting. So that's how this one came about.
So today we have an international rugby union player. That's right. He had 19 caps for Ireland Rugby Union, Mr. Mike McCarthy. So let's get straight on with that, shall we, Nick?
Yeah, here we go.
Absolutely. Welcome to Whiskey and Things, Mike McCarthy. Mike, you're our first professional sportsman, so thanks very much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Obviously, we know you as a rugby player, someone who used to play for Ireland, but there must be more to it than that.
Yeah, lads, first of all, thanks very much for having me. Very excited. I started playing professionally in when did I leave school? 2000, sorry. I signed from school in 2000 to Wasps. I spent 3 years at Wasps. I'm going to give you a whistle-stop tour here, lads, because I don't want to bore you.
Fantastic. It's great.
3 years at Wasps, and then I moved over to Ireland for 1 year to Connacht, which is in Galway. My grandparents are Irish. They're from Belmullet, west of Ireland. It's kind of the bleakest part of Ireland, probably. Absolutely in the middle of the sticks. And I suppose that's where I first started learning a little bit about whiskey, tasting whiskey, obviously learning about tasting Guinness as well, which tastes very good over there. Yeah. Learning about porcine, which my granddad used to actually make. I only spent a year there. Then I moved to Newcastle Falcons, where I spent 3 years. Moved back to Galway for 5 years. Then moved across to Dublin for 4.5 years, and I now found myself back in Newcastle. I've been back here. I've retired about 3 years ago, and I've been back in Newcastle for about 2 years. And I suppose over lockdown, I've always enjoyed whiskey, haven't known much about it, and I think maybe I was saying to you before, is it a bit of a midlife crisis? I'm not sure, but I seem to be getting into whiskey, cigars, and I even said there the old harmonica as well. So and I suppose during lockdown, it's just given me that kind of being stuck in an office kind of 24/7 for a year. It's, I've just found myself migrating here in the evenings and reading up on stuff, watching stuff, listening to your podcasts. I enjoyed listening to episode 40 today on Johnny Walker Blue Label, because my mum got me a bottle for Christmas and I haven't tried it yet. So I wanted to get a bit of a heads up on it before I crack it open.
Oh, I hope you enjoy that. So rugby as a career, that's a long career in rugby. I mean, to have got through that long of a career and not have to end your career early with injury, that's fantastic. I am a massive rugby fan.
Right.
Wasn't
aware of that.
Yeah, in fact, I actually have a program here, Mike, from a game which you played at.
Right.
Well, you were on the bench, but you came on.
I know which game it was, and I think we got spanked, and it seemed to coincide with me coming off the bench.
I wasn't going to say anything.
I think Ireland were doing all right until I came on, and then we seemed to ship about 3 or 4 tries. So
yeah, it was a great game.
yeah, great game. Yeah, great game for you. Yeah,
yeah.
Actually, I must admit that was one of the best piss-ups I've had after a game after that match. So, but yeah, it's under sad circumstances, unfortunately, for me.
Yeah, it was a great day out. The weather was good. I have got a lot of great memories of that day. It was a good day to be an England rugby fan, that's for sure. So obviously you got a number of caps for Ireland, which is incredible achievement. So well done for that. What were the highlights of being an international rugby player? What's the bit that you look back on most and go, that was amazing? Yeah,
I think first of all, I got 19 caps, but I didn't get my first cap till I was 29, which is pretty late. So, I suppose I was a late developer. I thought the ship had kind of sailed in terms of getting capped. And, luckily I kept working hard, persevering, and eventually came. It kind of coincided with playing behind some of the best locks in probably in the world at that time, in Paul O'Connell, Donacrow, Callaghan, and all, those guys. So, look, I was just, thankful that I did eventually get capped. Memories wise would probably be my first cap away to Scotland. With my family being there. Probably a big moment for me was getting man of the match against South Africa. That was a big day for me and the family. But yeah, sometimes I think you kind of remember more of the losses than the wins. And, unfortunately, 2013, where we were winning against the All Blacks in the 80th minute and they scored in the 84th minute to win it. I haven't cried after many games, but that was one of them. And the other one would be the semi-final in extra time of the Champions Cup to Toulon, where Habana got an intercept try to score. So, sometimes the losses resonate in the memory more than the wins, unfortunately. So those two always come to stick in my head anyway.
What's it like facing a hacker?
It's incredible. You've got so much respect for the team, the All Blacks in itself. And it's spine-tingling. I faced it as a young fella in the Under-21s World Cup, and I think people who haven't played professionally and, they see it on the TV and they think, wow, is that really scary and really daunting? And, I wouldn't say it's that at all. It's just, you feel so lucky and privileged to have the opportunity to stand there and face it. And it's spine tingling. It just motivates you. You're looking at them and it's just absolute respect to them as a team. And, you got the tingles going down your spine and you just can't wait to get stuck into it and, challenge yourself against the best in the world. So, and then, just obviously the crowd going wild, it's complete silence when the hacker's going on and, just seems to ramp up the volume and the excitement, the atmosphere within the stadium. So I wish I'd faced it more, but, I'm happy enough to have faced it once, I suppose.
That's insane. I was in New Zealand for the World Cup 2019, and it was just being in a bar when the All Black, when a hacker was happening in New Zealand. That was something to actually face it. That must have been amazing.
Yeah. It's just being in the crowd when it's happening is amazing. I'd say one of the highlights of my life was being at the 2015 World Cup final when Australia and New Zealand played. And the atmosphere during that hacker was like no other time I've ever seen it, probably because it's the only time I've seen it where it's essentially it was a neutral crowd, so everyone there was just so respectful of what was going on. But it's an amazing thing that they do.
Yeah, my kids love it as well. I've got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old girl, and well, it's my 5-year-old. It's whenever they're playing and the hacker comes on, I think the last time we had to rewind it about 10 times, and she was doing all this stuff at the front. It's hilarious. So. Yeah, amazing.
So since rugby, Mike, what are you up to? Are you still involved in the sport somehow? Do you do any commentating or anything like that?
Yeah, no, I'm still very involved in it. When I finished playing, I coached for a bit in Ireland. I was a forwards coach with the team over there in the All Ireland League, and really enjoyed that. And I thought that was my kind of route to life after rugby, but. Ultimately, I wanted to get my weekends back, and I wanted to be settled somewhere and not have to be, up sticks like when you're a player, and be prepared to have to, move here, there, and everywhere. So, my wife's from Newcastle, so that's where we wanted to be based and settle. And And sorry, I've wandered off. What was it? It's probably the headbang. Oh yeah, sorry, I've got it. Yeah. So after that, so then I moved back to Newcastle, and I'm working with the Rugby Players Association. So we're a union that represent the 12 Premiership clubs: England Women, England Sevens, England Rugby, and then the team that gets relegated, in this case Saracens. So I'm a development manager, so helping players prepare for life after rugby, and hopefully I can relate to them, having played 17 years myself. So
absolutely,
very much enjoying that. So and then commentary on the side as well. I'm doing some stuff with BT on Saturday for Leicester versus Connacht. So it's nice to stay involved, and I enjoy it.
I have one more question, which we should have asked earlier, actually. How when you started under 21s, you were with England, right? How does that work when you go from one country to another? And who do you support in that regard?
I nearly actually touched on it there before, but I thought I was waffling on a bit, so I wouldn't mention it. But yeah, as you say, I played England 21s, but a lot of people don't realise is that I actually was trying to play for Ireland 21s first. I just wasn't getting selected. So I was at Wasps 2000 to 2003. I wasn't on a proper contract at that stage in my first year. So I was actually missing Wasps under 21s games because I was flying over to Ireland to train. And I wasn't getting selected for any of the games. So I had to kind of take a back step and say, look, I'm going to concentrate on Wasps. I need to be playing for them week in, week out, and to secure a contract. So I did that. And then in the summer, I got called up to play England 21s. And I suppose whatever age you're at, but especially when you're a young fella, you just want to play at the highest level you possibly can. And, that was the opportunity, and I grabbed it with both hands, and, didn't look back. And for whatever reason, I ended up going back to Ireland, and just went down the Irish pathway. So when England are playing Ireland, I 100% support Ireland. I'm very proud of my heritage, my grandparents, and I get abuse from my mates both sides of the sea. The Irish lads give me abuse for having an English accent, and the English lads give me abuse for playing for Ireland. So I can't win.
I was going to say I've
got used to it. I've got used to it now. So, but love my time over there.
Whiskey. As you said, when you spent your time in Galway playing for Connacht, you started developing a love for whiskey and drinking whiskey. So let's now move on to talking a bit about whiskey. Do you have a favourite? Yeah, do you have a favourite whiskey?
Yeah. Okay. So as I mentioned at the start, for any listeners, I am an absolute novice, but I'm definitely, my knowledge is, especially over lockdown, has increased massively, and I'm just absolutely loving it. But yeah, I suppose Irish whiskey is definitely my favourite, and I've tried to branch out and learn a bit more about kind of New World whiskies, Japanese whiskies, Scotch whiskey, even just learning things like the 5 regions of Scotch whiskey, the Highlands, Lowlands, Speyside, Campbeltown, Islay. That's knowledge I didn't have a year ago, and it excites me. But I do prefer Irish whiskey. I find it smoother, and I don't necessarily enjoy not that I don't enjoy it. There's some Scotch whiskey I find, is it too peaty?
It's smoky,
smoky and too peaty. So I do prefer the Irish. A friend of mine who I played with at Connacht, Frank Murphy, he's now a professional referee. He bought me, he's from Cork, and he bought me a bottle of Redbreast 12-year-old. And
lovely.
Ever since then, I've got a bottle here on my desk, but ever since then, that's been a big favourite of mine. Really enjoy that. And then, I love Teelings as well, because I know the 2 Teeling brothers. I know their distillery opened in 2015, and I got lucky enough to get a tour of it. So
you're lucky, yeah. We've only had the virtual one so far.
Oh yeah. But it's just everything to do with whiskey. The history, the story behind making it, the journey it goes on, and like I said, I've learned a lot in the lockdown. Just knowing on the Jameson bottle, the Latin "sine metu," which means without fear. The Teelings bottle, the phoenix on the front, the rising of the phoenix from the ashes, kind of redefining its identity after it was lost, and learning about the angel share, just things like that. I just find it so interesting, and I'm not sure it's because I'm getting older, but it's just a newfound passion and hobby, which has been great for me since I finished my rugby.
I agree. I think there's a romance to it, which I wasn't aware of before we started really getting into it. It was just a drink on the shelf, but It's not. It's more than that. The process behind it, the people behind it, the stories. That may sound a bit dramatic, perhaps. And as a musician, and a songwriter, I'm probably prone to that. But I do think there is a big part of that, which makes it, when you do get into it, and when you start that journey that I think we're all probably at a similar stage on, that you can really buy into it in a big way. That and it's my girlfriend's. She can't drink it. She's tried. She can't drink it, but she's loving learning about it because it is so fascinating. We're trying to find various cocktails that she might like, but she absolutely loves. She likes smelling it, and the history and the stories and the people. It's all of that stuff she's really enjoying, and the different bottle shapes. It's little things like that, isn't it? And the sound of the cork, all those things around it are just quite amazing. Yeah,
my missus is. We did Hadrian's Wall in lockdown a good few months ago now, but I took my hip flask, took a cigar, and my missus, my wife wouldn't be like mad into it, but she does like a little a little dram, a little taste. So she was loving that out the hip flask on the walk on Hadrian's Wall. She was, but sorry, I know I mentioned Redbreast 12-year-old. I got sent Dingle Batch 5 recently as well, and that was absolutely fantastic. Really enjoyed that one as well.
We have you had Samuel Gelston's?
I haven't, no.
It's a Belfast whiskey. They're an independent bottler, so they're not actually distilling yet, but we got to send some of that, and it's amazing. If you see it, it's really good value as well. If you see a bottle of that, definitely
right. I've got my little hit list on my phone of like ticked off what I've had, and ones, when someone told me, so I'll definitely add that to the list.
Their blend is like £20 a bottle, and it's definitely up there, one of the best blended, especially Irish whiskies I've ever had. It was such an easy drink.
Even a Pinot Noir finished one's only 25 quid, and that's a beautiful one as well. Well worth it.
Lads, I've been I know, so we were talking about Irish whiskey there, but one I have really enjoyed, because I know Johnny Walker's are blended, and obviously it's a premium, it's quite expensive, isn't it? So I've been really enjoying, which is very affordable bottle, is the Monkey Shoulder.
Love that.
And I love the bottle, of the design of the bottle. And I looked it up. I think it said it was the best-selling blended Scotch in the world, 2019. I think, if I'm right. But I've really, really enjoyed having that for value for money, and I think the taste is brilliant.
Well, it's a blended malt, so it's made of single malts. It's got Glenfiddich, Balvenie, and I think a third one in there. So it's all quality stuff going in there, and it's really good value. It's one of my favourites for sure as well.
Yeah, you have it on your shelf regularly, don't you, Nick?
Yeah, I'll try to. I'm discovering so many regular whiskies now. Have you been doing any online tastings, Mike, at all?
I haven't done any tastings. I've been doing a course on Udemy. It's a beginner's whiskey course, and it touches on New World whiskies, Irish, Scotch, Japanese, and
everything. Nice.
The distillation process, and that's given me a real good grounding. So, I suppose the foundations to kind of go forward and learn. So it's just, there's just so much to learn. Look at Irish whiskey in the distilleries. I think 2011 there was only 4 distilleries, and now there's 20 plus, and they're all redefining their identity. Making a push on Scotch market now going forward.
Yeah, it's a really, really, the Irish market is really interesting. What's going on there? Similar to English whiskey as well. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on.
And lads, another thing, sorry, I'm just reeling off random stuff here, but
please,
the old single pot still. Not too long ago, I didn't realise that was a kind of to avoid, the British Crown, they avoid the tax. They mixed the malted and unmalted to avoid the tax. So it's just everything is just so interesting.
Most rules in whiskey have come about because of tax, I've discovered. It's all, because I think even in America, they started making bourbon and stuff with their leftover corn. Otherwise, they'd have to give it away. But the thing is, and we couldn't do that in England, I think if something to do if you had leftover barley in Great Britain, it belonged to the Queen.
Wow.
Right.
So they just started making whiskey with it. It's all about keeping the resources.
And then the Irish whiskey, with the Prohibition 1920 to 1933, I think Irish whiskey accounted for 70% of the global market, and then that's where it fell on its knees after in 1933. After that,
Yeah.
Totally lost their. That's why they're all kind of refining their identity now, which is brilliant.
There's loads of things. Ireland didn't kind of adopt the continuous still, the coffee still. Funny enough, the Ineos Coffee, who invented it, he was Irish. But then Ireland didn't want to adopt it because they didn't think continuous distillation was real whiskey. So then he took it to Scotland, and then they started making blended whiskey, which is why they could survive, because they can make it quicker and cheaply.
Yeah.
So
the single pot still, before we get on to this whiskey, that is a very Irish thing, right? Using just a single pot still. Am I right in saying that? One of you, I'm hoping, is going to tell me more about this.
Well, I'll have a crack. So, sorry, the single pot still, again, I only realised, so obviously single made and produced from the one distillery, and then, it's made with malted and unmalted barley in its mash bill. So it defines, that's my knowledge at the moment, is that that defines Irish whiskey. That's the point of difference in terms of, how it's made.
Yeah. The word single pot still, it sounds confusing because it sounds like a single pot. But again, with single malt, it means one distillery. And the pot part was to differentiate it from the column still stuff, which Scotland was doing. So it's single pot. But I think it has to have at least 30% malted barley, 30% non-malted. There can be other grains in there. But the single pot still is lovely stuff. But then it is triple distilled as well. So mainly.
Oh, sorry. Can I ask you a question as well, being the experts you are? So I've done loads of reading on this, and I keep getting different answers. But do you know what the actual reason is why Irish whiskey has an E in it? It's because I've heard because of ERA, EIRE. I've heard just simply a marketing tool to differentiate it from, Scotch whiskey. That's
what I've heard. I've heard it was literally, I think it was in Ireland first. I think Scotland dropped the E.
Right, okay.
To differentiate it. That's the understanding I have.
Yeah. Okay.
But of course, America took on the Irish spelling because of the Irish settlers, and elsewhere in the world, they just kept the Scotch one. But it all varies depending on who you talk to, really.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing when they went over to New York, the Irish settlers, etc., they took the E with them.
Yes. Love that.
Shall I pour a drop then, lads?
Yeah. Okay.
Whiskey bots, roll out.
This week's whiskey.
Teeling, single grain.
Look at that.
46% ABV.
We had Teeling before, if I remember correctly, Nick. It was back in episode 9. I think you told me that before we came on, so I'm acting like I've done the research myself, but thanks very much for telling me that.
Oh, good.
What one did we do though, Nick? They call it the small batch, don't they?
Small batch, yeah. That was finished off in rum barrels. So it's a nice sweet vibe. We did like it. We did like it a lot. We talked a little bit about Teeling back in episode 9, just a little recap, as it were, because it's quite a new distillery again, this one. Re-established, shall we say, in 2015 by Jack and Stephen Teeling, who opened this distillery again in the Golden Triangle in Dublin, which was historically where all the distilleries were back in the 1800s. Yeah. The original one was founded in 1782 by Walter Teeling, who founded this little craft distillery. That was then bought by different company, but the same family as John Jameson. But that eventually closed in 1923. Now, after that, as we kind of just discussed a little bit, there was a bit of a catastrophic error in Irish whiskey industry, shall we say. And it took John Teeling, a descendant of Walter Teeling, in 1987 to reopen a distillery, which they called the Cooley Distillery, in an attempt to restart the Irish whiskey industry using column distillation, funnily enough. So yes, and then that was eventually bought by Beam Suntory, bought that. That was in 2012. And 2015 is when Jack and Stephen Teeling brought the Teeling name back into the Irish whiskey circle, shall we say. And then that's what we got here. And as you said earlier on, Mike, the phoenix rising from the pot still is their logo to kind of signify the rebirth.
I obviously had a quick read up knowing I was coming on the podcast, so I just picked up as well. They've gone for like a unique vision with more premium, urban, and modern approach to their whiskey production. And I had that as well. His father John was a pioneer of the Irish whiskey revival, finding Cooley in 1987 and later reopened Kilbeggan.
Okay.
And then the family, sold in 2012, and Stephen and Jack set up, as you said there, in 2015.
Yeah. So actually ended up buying casks from Beam Suntory, some aged stuff to actually start teeling up again.
Before they open a distillery?
Yeah, around the same time, I think, because obviously they had to distill it and then age it. So they had something to sell. But it was you'd think, from the same kind of vibe. It was John Teeling, who had kind of distilled that stuff.
So now if you see Teeling whiskey on the shelf, it's an independent company, basically. It's one of those ones which isn't owned by a big conglomerate. Conglomerate. That's a word, isn't it?
What a word. So yeah, but this one,
which is the single grain, 46% ABV.
So this differs from other ones, as we were saying earlier on, like the single pot still stuff, and they do a single malt as well. This is a single grain, which usually means it has has malted barley and a load of other grains kind of in there. But what's interesting about this one is this is 95% corn. So this is got more corn than pretty much every bourbon out there.
I was just about to say, that sounds like this should be a bourbon then.
This would be classed as a corn whiskey in the States,
Is that why it's a bit that's where the spiciness comes from then, isn't it?
I think the sweetness comes from the corn. Usually spiciness comes from the rye aspect in a lot of bourbons, etc.
And it's matured in Californian Cabernet Sauvignon barrels, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. That's why it's so interesting to me, because there's a mash bill and a finish which I've never had together before. This is no age statement, but I found out that it's aged 5 to 6 years. Again, French oak, Californian, Sauvignon Blanc. No, Cabernet Sauvignon. I don't know much about wine. From Napa Valley. The corn from this comes from the south of France, apparently. And triple distilled. Although I read on their website that it includes column distillation. So I think this was made, actually, if you think about the aging, how long it was aged, I think this may have been made at the Cooley Distillery and then aged, because they have the column still there, which was originally bought by John Teeling, etc.
Right. I see.
But it does involve some sort of column distillation, which I'm interested in. But yeah, it's very interesting.
It's a winner of the Best Irish Grain 2019 World Whisky Awards, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually the new awards are out now as well, I believe, or they're starting to come out. I started to see some releases, so we should see if Teeling are on them. Maybe not right now, but we could have a look. I'm gonna start having a smell of this. It's weird because straight away it does smell like a bourbon to me, and I'm guessing that's the corn mash, right?
Yeah, it's all corn. I love about it, but you can smell that wine aspect in there as well. Ooh, cheers!
Nice,
say that on my
clever.
microphone.
Cheers. Yeah, it's really quite sweet on the nose, isn't it?
Oh. But it's fruity too.
I'm getting honey and spice.
Yeah. Bit of banana, pineapple.
Oh, yes, there's definitely some pineapple in there. Yeah, there's a sharpness to it, isn't there?
Yeah.
The honey's really coming through. Oh, yeah, this smells delightful.
Right, I'm going to have a little sip, gentlemen.
Yeah, definitely.
Cheers.
I thought you'd never ask that. Cheers. Sláinte.
All that talk.
Sláinte.
Okay, not what I was expecting at all.
In a good way or a bad way?
In a good way. In a really good way. I'm not getting much of the wine.
I think for me, the
not
wine
on first sip.
is coming through on the tannin, that tannin feel.
Yeah, it's not overpowering though.
Oh, that is a beautiful, beautiful drop.
I find it quite light, bit of spiciness. Buttery, would that be the right?
I was just about to say this has a buttery feel to it. And definitely, feels cheeky to say smooth, but it is so smooth as well, which is obviously so typical of Irish whiskies, but yeah, that's really good. It's really good. There's a vanilla in there. Are you getting a vanilla?
Yeah, and caramel.
Vanilla fudge. It was similar to, what was it we had the other week that had the vanilla? The Glenfiddich 15 had that vanilla fudge to it as well.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's funny, when you compare ones, my head goes straight back to why? What processes did those two whiskies go through to create that palate? Whatever.
So sorry, the spiciness comes from the rye. The sweetness comes from the corn. Did you say?
There was no rye in this, so the spiciness is probably coming from somewhere else. But that could be just the feeling of burn.
Could be from the wine.
Maybe from the wine.
This is a really good drop. How much is this, Nick?
Whiskey Exchange doing it $47.95.
Okay, so that's on the end of special treat. Well, the start of special treat territory for me.
Yes, that is special treat town. I
wouldn't be disappointed with this, saving this for a special treat. I think this is a really nice drop.
I think it's lovely. It's fresh. It's loads
fresh
of
is
flavour.
so good.
Yeah, I actually have some tasting notes here from Billy Abbott, and he mentioned some spice like cinnamon and nutmeg is what he found from it. Grape skin, polished oak. Remember the furniture polish note I had a few weeks back from something else? There's a tinge of that.
There's a bit of brown sugar in there, I think, as well. Something like
like a caramelized.
Yes, absolutely.
Sugar.
The grape thing is interesting. Now he said that, I am getting some grape in there.
Yeah, for me, the grape skin is the tannin. You know, when you like just eat the grape skin and it like curls your tongue up almost. Like, you know.
Yeah, I'm not angry with this at all. This is
or disappointed.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. I don't know why. Obviously, it's a beautiful day today. We're lucky. It's like the first day the sun is really shining. It's a really nice day. This is really refreshing. I was actually quite nervous and God, do I want to have whiskey on a Monday afternoon when the sun's out and it's this nice, you know? But this is a perfect whiskey. Yeah. I think it would be nice chilled as well. Like, wouldn't feel wrong sticking a cube of ice in this and enjoying it, or just, you know, having a chilled glass. It has that freshness to it, which actually sitting there as the sun's going down, I would quite enjoy a glass of this sitting there on my non-balcony.
Stick your head out, you Juliet.
Stick out, yeah.
Well, I think tomorrow's going to be a fab day here, so I think I've got it planned. I'm going to get the barbecue on. I'm going to get a fire pit once kids are down. I'm going to get the fire pit on. Maybe I've got a couple of cigars. I might have a little cigar, and I might crack open the old Blue Label tomorrow.
Nice, beautiful.
On a Tuesday.
Oh, that's living.
Yeah,
that is living.
Lads, you have, well, I was just there at the start saying I don't drink during the week, but then, you know, you've got to, when it's sunny in Newcastle, lads, you've got to take that opportunity.
Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. We've got sun here in Manchester today, but apparently it's going to snow later in the week. What's going on with that?
What?
Don't ask.
What?
Yeah. Why did I move? Here.
This is a beautiful drop. I've been asking that question ever since you did, but this is a beautiful drop. I'm really glad that we tried this, and this is the second Teeling whiskey I've had, and that I've been so impressed with.
Yeah,
I can't wait to get to Dublin and do the tour, Nick. I don't know about you.
I can't wait. Absolutely cannot wait.
What's it like down there, Mike? Is it impressive? Obviously, it's a new distillery, but there's tradition there. Have they tried to make it feel old, or have they gone down the route of this is new, we're going to make it all shiny new?
You can obviously appreciate the history and the kind of the old side of it, but as that is their point of difference, the kind of modern urban approach. So it is very, like, I've done the Jameson distillery's been kind of redone now. So I haven't seen that since it's been done. I'm not sure if it's actually open. Well, it's not open because of lockdown, but looking forward to seeing that when it is open. But I mean, I went on a stag do a couple of years ago, and, you know, guys all from over in England, we went over, so I was able to kind of show the guys around a bit, and we did the Guinness factory, we did the Jameson, and like the Jameson distillery was absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed that. And,
same. That old one in Dublin, that's a special place, what they've done with that.
Yeah, and but the Teeling's one's absolutely fantastic, and just a bit more of a modern approach, but I absolutely loved it, really enjoyed it. So definitely go and do that if you're over in Dublin.
Absolutely.
That's the plan.
Lads, I've got my list here on my phone, right? So if I got time to whistle through what I've had, I've got a tick next to of what I've tried in lockdown.
Go.
Yeah, go.
All right, okay. This can be like a minute thing or something. So, Suntory Hibiki, tick. Redbreast 12, tick. Lagavulin 16, tick. Glenmorangie 10, no, not yet. Henry McKenna 10, no. Teeling Black Pits, tick. Teeling single grain, tick. Whistle Pig Rye, no. Tullamore Dew, tick. Monkey Shoulder, tick. Jura 10, no. Bullet Bourbon, tick. Suntory Toki, tick. Dad's Hat Rye, no. Jameson Black Barrel, tick. Yellow Spot, tick. Green Spot, tick. And that's where I'm up to now, lads. So
I've done 8 of those. I was counting on my fingers.
Oh, okay.
So that's not too bad. Similar amount to you. Where did you get that list from? Was that just
That's just from chatting to kind of friends, and there's actually a guy called Chris Custer who used to play for Scotland. He's now got a whiskey business. He lives in. I'll come to me in a minute. Anyway, he's based out there, and he took a massive punt to set up a whiskey company over there. Didn't realise how much competition there was, and it was very stressful. 2-3 years setting it up, but he's absolutely smashed it, and he's doing fantastic. So, but he told me to try Dalwhinnie 15 and Balvenie 12. So I've added those to my list as well.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the Balvenie stuff. That's for sure. We had a Dalwhinnie recently, which
we did the Winter's Gold, didn't it?
The Winter's Gold. They advertised putting that one in the freezer, and we both were like, yeah, whatever. This is marketing trip.
Very nice,
and it was incredible.
Nice.
So you left the bottle in the freezer, and also your glass. And it was amazing. It was one of those amazing experiences that we've had since doing this.
So he's based in LA. He's a whiskey retailer in Los Angeles.
Right.
Nice.
And I just like, I hadn't met him before, but I knew someone who knew him. We just jumped on a Zoom call like this, and like I could have been on all night. We were just shooting the breeze. It's dead interesting hearing his story of how he set up, and he totally didn't appreciate the kind of extent of lack of knowledge he had, and the realization of the competition, obviously over in the US, and but yeah, he's done really well. So
yeah, they've nearly got more distilleries than people over there, haven't they? It feels that way. But this is a beautiful drop. Now, Mike, thanks so much for joining us to do this and to drink this whiskey with us, and for telling us a bit about your story. Hopefully we'll be able to do this in person one day when we get up to Newcastle, perhaps, and come and join you for a whiskey.
Around the fire pit.
Yeah, absolutely. Or there's Yorkshire's not too far away from you. There's a distillery in Yorkshire we could go and visit. I'm sure we could do a little distillery tour at some point.
So yeah, there's one opening up here in the northeast soon.
Right on the border, isn't it? I've read about that as well, and I've now that's gone
Adgeffryn. So yeah, that's opening up soon. So that's pretty exciting. But yeah, if you're up in Newcastle, give me a shout. Bring the old guitar. We'll sit around the fire pit.
Oh mate, sounds amazing. Yeah. Can't wait.
Shoot the breeze.
Can't wait. Thanks so much for joining us, Mike. We'll hope to see you again.
Lads, thanks for having me. All the best.
Thank you.
You're listening to Whiskey and Things.
Mate, loved that. That was absolutely amazing.
It was good, wasn't it?
What a lovely guy.
Yeah. Great knowledge too. Like, yeah. He's loving learning, like us, and it's a lovely little conversation there.
Yeah, I was a little bit starstruck, not going to lie. It's not every day you get to talk to someone who you've seen play rugby at Twickenham in front of 80,000 people, is it?
Who you wanted to get battered. Yes. That's the other part of that equation.
Yeah, but the thing is though, mate, the rugby, it's all fine once the final whistle's gone, isn't it? As he said, you go and have a big piss up afterwards, and that's exactly what it is. When you're at a rugby union game, international games, you're sitting next to the opposition fans as well.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it?
It's a lovely atmosphere. So I wasn't expecting any any antipathy there. Is that a word? I don't know. I think I just made a word up.
It's just a good one.
Yeah, it sounded good. sounded good. Anyway, we loved having Mike on, and there'll be some of his social media stuff in the show notes. But Nick, have we got a little thing here? Have we got? Is it coming back? Is it come back?
It's been a few weeks, isn't it? So should we do it?
Boozeround is back. Boozeround is back, everyone. Yes, we have a story for you. On the 27th of March, which was Saturday just gone, it was International Whisky Day. Now, Nick, tell us all about this, because I saw your Instagram post that you put up, and I had no idea about this.
Yeah, I mean, I'd heard of International Whisky Day, and you see there's so many whiskey days all throughout the year.
There really are.
Yeah,
we tried to make we tried to make a calendar recently, and we were like, what? What?
But,
Bourbon Day and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, there's all these whiskey days, because I thought it was just appreciating whiskey internationally, like a lot of people would if they hear International Whisky Day. But I delved a bit deeper, and it's got a bit of a deeper meaning, this one. International Whisky Day was actually launched in 2009 at the Whisky Day Festival in the northern Netherlands, in the presence of several whiskey writers. It was actually an event created to honour the British whiskey and beer writer Michael Jackson. And the 27th of March is actually Michael Jackson's birthday. So that's why they celebrate it on that day. So it publicly appreciates whiskey, which is one of his loves, but it also supports Parkinson's disease charities and awareness. And I think that's the important thing to get across, because I didn't get that impression from a lot of things I was reading. So I just wanted to make sure people know about that. Because he suffered from Parkinson's disease towards the end of his life when he died in 2007. But yeah, so it was a day to appreciate him and hopefully raise some awareness and raise a glass of your favourite whiskey also.
I'm assuming there's a International Whisky Day website then, which talks more about these things.
There is, yes. I had trouble getting on it the other day. I had to get my research from other places, but it should still be up there, and we'll put the link to that in the description as well.
Excellent.
There we go, everyone. But Michael Jackson's name I've heard a lot doing the research over the year.
I've heard him being brought up a few times in a few different things that we've done, and in some of the
podcasts and stuff I've been listening to as well.
Absolutely.
So, yes, there we go.
And some other things we were going to cover this week, but we're trying to get to the bottom of them because we don't really understand it. But there's some kind of whiskey awards going on, and we've seen people post about them, but we're not really sure how it works.
We're going to get into that.
There's like 7,000 different awards, so it's quite quite complex.
Different stages. There's different stages of these awards, and yes. People are listening to this now who know what we're talking about are going, no, it's very simple.
Yeah,
boys.
But we don't. This is new for us. And neither of us, in our little brief amount of time we had before this show to research it, got to the bottom of it. So therefore, we're going to come back to it. We're going to come back to it. Yes,
come back to it. It's fine.
It's fine. It's absolutely fine. It's the same with Newsround. When Newsround happened, it never showed every news story, did it, Nick? And that's the same with Boozeround. Sometimes we're not going to even mention anything, and that's how this works. Anyway, that's it for this week's Boozeround. Boozeround. Tell your friends.
You're listening to the Whiskey and Things podcast.
Do you know what we've got to mention there, Nick? We forgot to mention that the full uncut video of our interview with Mike is on our Patreon page.
It will be. Yeah, it's there. Go look.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're a member of our Patreon, go and have a look at that. And we're gonna do some other things on Patreon soon. So if you haven't joined, go and join. It's always a good time to go and join up on Patreon. That's patreon.com/whiskey and things. But that is all we have time for this week.
Well, technically, we have time for anything because it's a podcast, so we could go on for as long as we want. But we think that's enough. We think that's enough for this week. That's what they say at the end of things. Well, that's all we have time for this week. We could do that every week and just have it different lengths every week. I'm going to shut up now.
No, one day I'm going to test you with that and just keep going for about 4 hours. just keep talking at you.
Well, it feels like you do anyway, mate.
Touche. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in this far. We hope you enjoyed our interview with Mike. And if you have tried the Teeling single grain Irish whiskey, then please let us know your thoughts. As always, we love to hear from you. So until next week, I think it's time for us to say cheers.
Thanks for coming.
Whiskey and Things has been brought to you by And Things Productions.